my name is Russ. I'm your teammate. I'm the president of the college. I've been here with you all for 5 years. This is my 9th state of the college. And I'm very excited to be here with you all. I want to start just a few housekeeping logistics, and then I want to introduce you to the chair of our board, who is joined by his colleague on the board, Trustee Mary Petlichkoff. And before I start with that, I want to invite you to help me thanking Bruce Wall and his team for what I can see as a wonderful breakfast. And I have to tell you a little funny story. I have been making these speeches 9 times over 5 years. You know, I've been here 5 years with you all, and this is a really important job for me. I love this job, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about why as we go through this morning's presentation. But there's really only one thing that's more important to me than this job, and it's my family. And my little guy surprised me last night. He said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to make a State of the College speech." And he's 10 years old, so he's been here half of his life. And he's heard about the State of the College several times. He said, I think I might want to go to that. And I said, okay, well, well, you missed the other 8. And his little sister was not going to be outdone, so she said, well, is there food there? Of course, you know that there's pancakes. And I don't remember, Bruce, have we done pancakes before? We have? We have? Okay. Well, don't tell my kids that, because I told them this was the first time we're going to have pancakes. So Miles got his 3-piece suit on. He's sitting right up here in front of his little sister, Samantha. I told him, I said, well, you can eat some pancakes, but listen, it's not an entirely short speech. So this may be the first time they listen to me. And I did invite them, and when they ran out of patience, they may be the ones doodling out of here. It's an exciting time for me to be here, and I do want you to know that it's a pretty cool thing to have my family here. But another really cool thing is to have the support of the board. The board is led by, as you know, 7 elected trustees from the city of Dearborn. Amongst themselves, they elect a chairperson. And they both oversee the school district, which is the 3rd largest public school system in the state of Michigan, where my 2 most precious resources attend and learn. But they also have the 3rd largest community college, which I believe is the best community college, not only in the state, but in the country. And I hope that they agree, and most of the time they do. And they've been supportive of me and my family. And so each year at the State of the Colleges, I give the chair, and I ask the chair for an opportunity to have brief remarks. So I will invite and ask you to give a warm welcome to Trustee Jim Thorpe, the chair of the Board of Trustees.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the new school year.
Yay.
So this is either the 2nd or the 3rd time I believe that I've addressed you, and I like to always keep it fresh and not keep repeating the same thing over and over. So I sat there and I thought, what do you say to this group? What do you say to a bunch of people that are in the academic world that probably have more advanced degrees than you do? I'm not going to try to do anything better intelligence-wise, so I said, let's hit it with my beauty. And then I looked at the mirror and said, I got to start again. So I thought, let's try something that I've been spending an awful lot of time with, golf. My son has decided to take up the game of golf. He's been playing with me for several years, but now he is solely focused on golf. It's nice when you're 16 years old and you've got a summer free and you can get on a golf course 3 times a week and maybe go hit a bucket of balls with your friends another time. So he's gotten to the point now where he's competing with me. But there's a lot of things that golf can teach us about life. So I thought I would share that with you. I thought a good place to start with golf, keep your head down. There are many, many things that can distract us when we're golfing. But one of the most important things is watch that ball. Just focus on the ball, don't worry about anything else that's going on. Now with the college, we've got many, many wonderful things happening right now. The board gets the reports all the time. We see that student enrollment is up. Credit hours are up. We're in the second year of a strategic plan. It's going well. We've got projects being finished, projects on the drawing board. There's a lot of things going well, but we need to keep our heads down and remember what got us here and keep moving forward. Sometimes in golf, we decide to get a little bit cute and decide that if we hit it a little bit harder, good things will happen. It doesn't. You gotta be relaxed. You gotta hold the club gently, not over grip. And that's another important thing. And sometimes we would like things to go just our way. We want the perfect day. But it's not gonna happen. So you might as well relax your grip. Think about when you were back in school. You had an exam the next day. What's gonna work better for you? Cram all night, pull the all-nighter, or get a good night's rest? You can all decide what works better for you, but for me it was usually, let's get a good night's rest and see how this goes. Another thing you learn, teamwork. I mentioned you want to keep your head down. Don't watch the flight of the ball. That's for your teammates to watch. None of us work in silo. We all have to work with others. So trust in your teammates to pick you up when you're down. If you need help, ask them for it. But don't offer help if it's not asked for. That's a very bad thing to do on the golf course. Practice what's most important. Why does every single person on the driving range have a bucket of balls with just their driver? If you golf correctly, or you're only using the driver 14 times, but you're probably using your putter, well, let's be honest, 30 or so. So practice what's most important for you in your daily work. Sometimes you will hit a beautiful shot, but the fairway's that way. Sometimes you will scull it, which means you'll have a worm burn, which means it's a very, very ugly shot, and the stupid thing will end up 2 feet from the hole. What matters is the result, not how you got there. So remember that you're going to have days where the alarm didn't go off, the power went off, so you had no way to get up on time. You were rushing to get here. You're not dressed quite right, and God knows things still went your way. It's a miracle, but it happens. And finally, on that last hole, some miracle of miracles, you'll have the best hole of your life, and you'll decide, I should do this again. That's the way life is, isn't it? There's going to be the good days, there's going to be the bad days. Pick each other up when those things are happening. Know that this is going to be a great year. They're not all going to be fantastic ones, at least from a day-to-day standpoint. But the board is always here to support you, looking at the big picture items, making sure this college continues to meet its mission and vision statements. Good luck with the upcoming 23-24 school year. We look forward to a great year. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and one more time I do want to introduce his colleagues. We have Trustee Mary Pelichkov, who's here in the front, and I see your colleague, Trustee Irene Watts there at the top of the stairs. And Trustee Watts, did you see any of your other colleagues? I don't think I saw any other trustees. Trustee Watts, did you see any other trustees up there? Okay. All right, well, let's get started. Thank you all for being here. I want to do what I usually do at the beginning of these speeches and welcome new teammates. Several of you raised your hands. I'll tell you, one of the things that I enjoy the most about this job is working with you all in what is really a privilege, to be able to change lives through public education. It's something that means a lot of deep resonance within my own family's history, but also with my connection with you all. So I take a lot of pride every year. I read these names because it feels good to talk about my teammates. So Maria Alicia is in facilities. Lisa Bradley is the executive director of HR. William Brennan is in campus safety. Sterling Shadasina is in facilities. I'm sorry, Sterling, if you're here. My last name's hard also. Rachel Chatfield in advising. Gregory Coates in campus safety. LaJohn Collier in facilities, Moses Davis in facilities, Tracy Davis, our new Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, who you'll hear from later this morning. Lakita Ebo in student support, Diaz Graves in campus safety, Laura Hamza in advising, Lamar Harris, I saw Lamar, Yeah, how you doing, Lamar? Welcome. Lamar and I have gone to high schools together already. He's a recruiter. Dawn Hestan in Veteran Services. Tyria Kendrick, I saw Tyria. Good morning. Welcome to the State College. She is our Director of K-12 Relations. Sarah Friesen, Advising. Allison Lowe in Student Support. Nicole Lowe in Facilities. Philip Lutz in Records. Martine Montgomery in Facilities. Trina Moore, not new to us, but a new role, Director of Nursing. Brianna Pinnell, Admissions Recruiter. Robert Paslowski in Facilities. Tracy Perry, Director of Admissions. Amal Qureshi, Advising. Brad Romans, I think I saw Dean Romans. Hi, good morning, Dr. Romans. Rowan Rods, Student Support. Daryl Stanborough in Student Support. Kelsey Taylor in Advising. Hannah Rathawi in the Web Team. Rachel Van Zolfin, Advising. Diamond Watkins in Academic Affairs. Nakari Williams in Advising. Laura Willman in IRBI, which is Institutional Research. Doria Wilson in Advising. Raya York in Labor Relations. And Jason Young, just brand new from the last board meeting, Director of IRBI. So, for those of you who are here, welcome. For those of you who are not here, you probably aren't hearing your name, but please tell your new teammates in your departments, folks, that we were excited to call them out by name and say welcome. The next group of commendations are for those people who have tenure or are unfortunately leaving our employ. Hannah Balala is an ELI instructor who has achieved tenure. And of course, you see the names there of those who will be retiring or are retiring very soon. Now, I will tell you that I know some names are not on this list, and if you see this list and you wonder, well, why isn't my name on the list? There's many reasons. Please know that I don't even know myself, some folks who aren't on this list who do plan to retire, but we treat that pretty sensitively. So these are the folks who have identified themselves already and given us the authority to congratulate them. So these are folks that will have earned what we all hope to have, a meaningful career where at the end of their career they can look back over their shoulder and say they had real impact. And I know some of these people are close to me, and I congratulate all of them. So we also have some new leaders here amongst us. I didn't see Tracy Davis yet, but Tracy, I know, yeah, Tracy's right here. She's the new Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. I'm going to ask her to make a couple comments because that is a new role here at Henry Ford College that I know you all are interested in, and that was a commitment from me to you at this presentation that we would get this done. Dr. Michael Hill is the Chair of the Faculty Senate. Did I see Dr. Hill? Good morning, Dr. Hill. And Trina Moore is Director of Nursing. She's been with us for quite a while. You know her, but she's taking a new role. And I neglected to note that, I didn't know this, Dr. Hill, 27 years of teaching and 17 years at HFC. And if you don't know Dr. Hill, you know he's been a leader in many, many different things, including the CTEI, co-founding the Writing Center. Now he's going to be the chair of the Faculty Senate, having been elected by his colleagues. And he'll take the mic after me and Tracy here at the end of this presentation. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Dr. Hill's predecessor in the chairmanship, Dr. Tony Perry, who led the Senate so ably for many, many years. Is Tony here? Let's see, and then of course I mentioned earlier, Mr. Young joined us after 20 years of experience in higher education, both 2- and 4-year institutions. He comes to us from Delta College. He'll report to Dr. Lori Gago, who's the Vice President of a number of things, including IRBI. Excuse me. A couple leaders came to us before the very recent time, and I wanted to just make sure that you had a chance to meet them. I'm going to identify all these folks because I think I saw all of them. Hold your applause because I want them all to stand up so you see them. I want you to see these people because they're all fantastic teammates, and I know they would enjoy having the opportunity to have you walk up to them and say hello. So Lisa runs Human Resources. Please hold your applause. Stand up, Lisa. Tyria Kendrick, who I already mentioned. Tracy Perry, I didn't see her, but I'm sure she's here. There's Tracy Perry. And then Dean Brad Romans. So these are all leaders. These are people who are actually getting things done. If you're not knowledgeable about the School of Liberal Arts, you better be. It's kind of the workhorse of our academic unit. Our recruiting department is new and transformed, and Tracy is taking that bull by the horn, so to speak. She reports up through Rhonda DeLong. Lisa Bradley is running HR, and she reports to Lori Gonko, and she's doing really, really great work. She just lost a superstar in Tracy Perry, so she's trying to fill that. I'm sorry, Tracy Davis. So she's trying to fill that position. And then Tyria is doing K-12 relations, which did some really exciting work this past summer to try and pump up our enrollment from the major two goals of our first part of our strategic plan. So please welcome all these with your applause. Okay, so some of the time this morning I'm going to talk to you about why I'm so excited to be here. And this morning I was kind of looking over my shoulder at the last 5 years, probably because my kid decided to come watch, and I thought, man, what have we done over the last 5 years? And why I love this job so much is because of what this picture embodies. And this is the beginning of a student's life with Henry Ford College. This is a young man who posted himself on Facebook, "We HFC baby, Henry Ford College officials." Now, Caleb is from Detroit, and he's clearly excited to be at Henry Ford College, and this embodies why I know you all get out of bed in the morning. I know that because you all have talents that could be so valuable elsewhere, but you've decided to invest it here. Now, you want a meaningful life and you want a livable wage, but the truth is you really want an opportunity to meet students like Caleb. You want to be able to come to work and know you'll make a difference for these people, because you know it does make a difference. And the reason why I'm so excited to have this job is because I know it too. I see it in ways and how you do your job. So I want to just take a few moments and tell you why I'm so excited to be here with you, because it's the beginning of a fall semester where we have the privilege, the immense opportunity to meet more students like this, to help them on their path, and it is so monumental. It changes lives, but also it helps us exist. It helps us prosper as a college. People are noticing your intense focus on student success. I promised you 5 years ago that if we worked together and built a culture of teamwork, that where we focused on student success, if we made students the most important thing, and goodness knows we humans in any human endeavor, we can figure out all kinds of things to focus on other than focusing on the ball. We can focus on internal struggles. We can kind of get frustrated with a coworker. I do all this. I know it. I don't focus on the ball as well as the chair mentioned we should. But if we did focus on students, we would simultaneously be doing what we came here to do. And then people outside of higher education would start to focus on us. And we've been through so much in the last 5 years. So much of it we didn't anticipate, and some of it we weren't even really prepared for. But what we did accomplish was a culture where we continually focused on student success, even when we didn't want to, even when we were scared about a pandemic, even when we had struggles about who was going to lead certain departments, even when we had struggles about collective bargaining agreements. We kept coming back to it. This is our teamwork culture now. If you go to a room at Henry Ford College and you have employees there, from me to anyone else, you can be assured that if the question gets off focus, we can always bring it back to student success. And that is the reason why the first time in this current governor's tenure, she decided to hold a summit for higher education and invite every single trustee of every 2- and 4-year public institution and every CEO. And she decided to have it in this room. And the reason she did was because she saw what I told her about you all. That this is the place where we have built a culture that singularly focuses on student success. And it makes us unique. It makes me really excited to work here. It makes me know why you get up in the morning. And it delivers the kind of opportunity that these two students who are on the opposite end of their life journey with Henry Ford College from Caleb. Some of you have seen these two women, and if you don't know them, I'm about to remind you, and I think you'll remember. The woman on the left of this picture is Kelsey. The woman on the right is Sarah. Now, you probably saw about 5 months ago, Kelsey was pregnant, and you probably saw her on maybe Good Morning America or People magazine, because she was on the side of the graduation stage, and she told the team that she refused to not be able to graduate. She was going to walk across that stage despite being 38 weeks pregnant, in labor, and we made it happen. And the world noticed. But the reality is they didn't see what I knew, which is what you all have been doing for years. And Gretchen Whitmer noticed. And she wanted to meet this student, who, by the way, came to Henry Ford College in a free college program that this governor set up, and that you all work so hard to provide great educational services to people like Kelsey. Because Kelsey wanted a better life. She was working part-time at the Dearborn Public Schools. She had to struggle through community college to get a 2-year degree, and then during the time got pregnant, but did not stop. Now has graduated, become a mother, and is on her way to Eastern Michigan University to be a teacher, where, by the way, we've established a really great pipeline to Eastern Michigan University, and we've had Nyla, the baby, back twice. And since this little one was that age, I haven't held a baby other than Nyla. Which tells you how invested I am and how invested you are. And Sarah Sparks on the right side of this picture also got to meet the governor, because Sarah also came to Henry Ford College through a free college program. And Sarah was working full-time, mother of 3, spouse. And for those of you who held those roles, you know that you're the hardest working, most diligent people on the planet. But yet somehow Sarah figured out a way to get back into college after trying decades ago, and then get through. And I know some of you know these students. I know they're why I can get up in the morning, and they're why I'm so excited. The thing, less than 3 weeks ago, those 2 women who are HFC graduates were standing on this stage right here introducing one of the most powerful politicians, and by the way, women, leaders in the country. That happened here because of what you all have been able to do in your culture and focusing on student success. All I'm doing is highlighting. And that's why I'm so excited, because we're on the precipice of coming out of some really difficult times as a college. And we're going to start hitting a couple win streaks, and this is the beginning of it. So that's why I'm excited to be here. Now, it wouldn't be a state of the college for those of you if I didn't give you an enrollment report. I know this is not the most sexy and fun part of the conversation, but it is my job to advise you that all of this great work we do for Sarah and Caleb and Kelsey, all of it is based on our ability to pay our bills. And unlike most community colleges, the majority of our expenses are paid with tuition dollars. Most community colleges are something below 50% of their revenue comes from tuition, but ours is above 50%, which is okay because it makes us have to work hard to serve students, enroll students. It's also why I focus on it like a hawk. Now, since the pandemic hit, we've been going down in enrollment, not precipitously, but small chunks, and we're about 9% below our high water mark for the fall, which was the fall of 2019, where I was up here crowing about our first enrollment increase. Knock on wood, I don't want to do that again. But right now, we are, if we look back at this time last year, in other words, if I look back to where we were right now last fall, we are actually up. We're up by 2% from where we were a year ago at this time. Now we've got about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter of this game. We've got to finish strong so we can meet our goal for enrollment. For those of you that are policy wonks or money wonks, we've got to enroll about 100,000 credit hours. And we're about 4,000 short. So we're close. But I tell you this to say, not only do you make a difference in Sarah's life, and Caleb's life, and Kelsey's life, if you see a student who you think you can help, I'm asking you, do what I see so many of your colleagues do. Literally touch them, whether it's physically or electronically, and make sure they feel that they have what they need to enroll and to be supported. It's the right moral thing to do, but for John Setkowski and me, it'll bless our hearts because it will be the ways that we can continue to support the work you do and the wages that you have earned. The next thing I want to talk to you about is our strategic plan. And we just launched a website that gives you some opportunity to look at the strategic plan initiatives that we've rolled out. I continue to invite you to communicate with me and with any vice president because they are all taking ownership of it, to look at how we're going to achieve our strategic plan goals. If you haven't seen our strategic plan, you may have been living under a rock, because I think I wake up, my kids can probably recite the strategic plan by now. But we've got a unique strategic plan. I challenge you to find any community college or four-year institution or really any institution of humans doing really important work that can put their most important goals on one page. We narrowed it to 8 goals, and that was because you all and the board decided we were going to make strategic plan, student success focus, and we are unique in that regard. So I want to tell you about a small vignette in each of these areas because there are 4 pillars. One is access, one is retention, one is completion, and one is transfer. If you haven't had the opportunity to look at the strategic plan, please do. The first pillar has 2 goals. All pillars have 2 goals, so there are 8 goals. The first pillar has a goal to increase enrollment by African American and Latinx students. And I want you to know this is serious work for me. So serious that Tracy Perry and I have worked together to figure out a way for me to get into the schools where these students live and go to them and say, I want you to come to Henry Ford College. I know you can be successful. I know that some in your community have been telling you you might not deserve a chance at college. Maybe college isn't worth it. But I'm inviting any of you who want to join me. We have to go to these students because the truth is there is no community college in Michigan who serves a higher percentage of poor students than us, except one. There's a very small community college in Northern Michigan, but all the other 31 community colleges are below our percentage. 72% of our students are Pell eligible. Those are students who, if we do not go to and directly say to them, college is for you, it's a path to a better life, demonstrably, you'll make $800,000 more over your lifetime if you knock out an associate degree. You'll get to community college and have a free tuition process that if you can get through the 4-year, which all you have to do is walk across the street now, you'll double your wages as a first-year employee. And we want you there. We have to be willing to get out of our skin. And I gotta tell you, when I was in Pershing and King and Chavez, none of those students had my life background. And it can be kind of intimidating to go to a bunch of people and say, college is for you, but I don't live your life. I'm inviting you to come with me because it will make a difference. And I say to those students what I just said to you. I don't have your background, but I do know. If you show up at Henry Ford College, you will have a chance at a better life. And we put real work behind that. With Curious Work, we had a summer program where students were bused from these schools. In 3-week segments, we fed them breakfast, we fed them lunch, in between we helped them feel like they belonged on campus and get them ready for curricular opportunities. My point to you is this. We are moving on access, and we see this as one of the pivotal goals, and I need your help. The next is retention. Now, I told you that because of our strategic plan, we were getting attention from outside entities. That's true. Now, if you don't know anything about the Detroit Promise program, it's a free college program for Detroit high school students who graduate. It's been around for almost 6 years. And Henry Ford College has by far the most students in that group. We've got almost 1,300 students over the last 6 years who come to Henry Ford College from the Detroit Promise program. And the next closest is half. So we're serving this population, but as you know, this is a difficult population to serve well. They've got transportation barriers, financial barriers, societal issues that come between them, but we've gone all in. We have devoted resources and space to these students. And I know those of you, I'm looking at my friends in the classroom, I know you are devoting disproportionate resources to them also. And now you've got help. Billionaires. The family that owns the Buffalo Bills runs a foundation called the Ralph Wilson Foundation. And this co-founder of Microsoft is a guy named Palmer, who now lives in California, from Detroit. And they decided they were going to give $30 million to schools that were trying to help students through economic mobility. And so we competed for the last 4 months for the biggest share of that $30 million. And we won because of this strategic plan. And they gave us money to hire more of these coaches for Detroit Promise. They gave us more money to give these Detroit Promise students disproportionate support, which is what they deserve. If you want to talk about equity, it's what someone deserves to have a chance at the life-changing environment of Henry Ford College. So we continue to plow resources into this group of students because you all have allowed me to show how focused you are on student success. If you don't know the picture, if you don't know the people on this slide, I invite you to say hello to them. They're the leaders of the Detroit Promise. And I don't know if any of them are here. Is Rico here? Elise is here. There's Elise. Is Rico here? Okay. So please, If you don't know about the Detroit Promise, go see their offices in the Student Center. Now, the next pillar is completion, and what our goal here is to both increase the percentage of our students who graduate, and I'll just say it, we got to get our graduation rate up, but we're making great progress there. But we also need to get the number of students who walk across the stage to increase. Those are really two different things. Sorry to go into just a little bit of detail, but the graduation rate is kind of a narrow window of first-time, full-time students and how they do in 3 years. Fine, we're going to try and chase that metric. But there's also the life-changing result of Kelsey, who took more than 3 years, but she's a winning success, and we want more just basic aggregate completions. And so what we've been able to do is take that strategic plan and go to another group of people who are willing to fund support systems, and we've hired college completion coaches, which again, they're not against our bottom line. We have external funding to support these, and I want you to know that groups from the AmeriCorps to MCAN, which is Michigan College Access Network, continue to focus on you at Henry Ford College as the place that's going to do this work the best. And now, with this support, we simply have to perform. And I know that we can do it. And I'm excited to chase these metrics, which is, again, completion, both in the aggregate sense and graduation rate. The last thing I want to compliment is the last pillar of our strategic plan. And that is, we know that if students come to Henry Ford College, the majority of them tell us they want to transfer to a four-year institution. But because we got good at listening to students and what they were struggling with, we learned that one of the inhibitors of that is, I don't want to have to ask a university for permission, because I wasn't even sure I belonged at HFC in the first place. But what if I ask if U of M Dearborn or Wayne State to come across the street and be part of their institution, and they say no? You know as well as I do, a lot of our students are still battling a little imposter syndrome. We also know that the cost to attend Henry Ford College is very, very low. The return on the investment is great for students, but the return is the credit. And when they transfer to four-year institutions, they're terrified of and sometimes actually experience loss of credits. So we took those questions, and frankly, there was one person who was at the head of this, and it was Dr. Michael Nealon, who was a dog with a bone on this. He just kept going to institution after institution saying, we need our students to be able to have automatic admission, and we need our students to have 60 credits transfer with junior status. And I gotta be honest, Michael, for years I didn't think we were gonna get there. And in the last year, by force of will, and these two pictures don't have Michael in these pictures, and I'm wondering why. Because he's such a selfless guy, we got these agreements. We got these agreements, and we had big shows about it, but on both instances, Michael had something he had to take care of, so he couldn't be there. But the truth is, behind Michael's work, if you graduate from Henry Ford College now, and you have a grade point average that meets the threshold that the university should and does set, then you don't have to ask for permission to walk across the street to U of M Dearborn. You don't have to wonder if you're going to lose credit hours. Same thing with Wayne State University, and Michael and I are going to meet with a very big university in East Lansing next week to try to get one more of these. Because what we want you to be able to say to Caleb and to Kelsey and to Sarah is, if you come to Henry Ford College, not only are we interested in giving you the value of what we can give, we want to pave a path for you to become successful at the next step, because that really is the gold standard. Every single one of you, other than these two little ones, know the value of a four-year degree. And I'm trying to get them to learn it right now. But you know, our real gold standard is to help people who want and can achieve a four-year degree to have a seamless path to that. And with these two agreements, and many more to come, what we've been able to do with Dr. Nealon's complete support and effort is to say, as the only two-year college in the state, you come to HFC, a degree, an associate degree is a ticket to ride to any of these institutions. No one else can say that to their students. And this is all a result of the strategic plan that you all have leaned into. This is the reason the governor is giving us more money. This is the reason that the industries are coming to us. These are the reasons why I'm so excited to be here with you. All right. It wouldn't be a state of the college unless I brag about how we're doing some great stuff on campus. One of the most exciting things we have the opportunity to do is name the parts of our campus in honor of our fallen and former teammates. And later this afternoon, we're going to do that for our Student Center, where we will honor our erstwhile colleagues, John McDonald and Rick Gower. John McDonald, from a vote, a unanimous vote with our Board of Trustees, will have the Student Center named after him. And I do want you to know, for those of you who are new, John McDonald was a tireless servant at Henry Ford College, both as a teacher and a labor leader. He, Eric, I always get this number wrong, but I think president for 42 or 44? 44 years as a collective bargaining unit leader. He was a giant in our community, and we're honored to be able to bestow the name of John McDonald on the Student Center later today, where I'll invite you to come and enjoy that festivity. I believe there'll be dignitaries from around the community. And then right after John McDonald's naming ceremony, we'll go down to the band room where we'll name that after Rick Gower, who, you know, like John, both of these individuals left us both too early as employees and as colleagues and friends. And so this will be a befitting way to honor their legacy both at the college, but both as time on this earth. Of course, is Steve Blazer here? Is that you right here in the picture? You look kind of happy. Yeah, so assistant gallery, I think Steve, during the pandemic, Steve came to me and said, you know, we got to redo the assistant gallery. And I said, well, we're hemorrhaging money, and I don't know if we're going to get bailed out. And I can't do it yet, but I promise after the pandemic, we'll get back to it. So assistant gallery is something that Steve, your colleague, knows well, that we've renovated and we're excited about. We also, before the pandemic, were able to get a good chunk of about $8 million out of the state government to expand the tech building, which is E. And we're just already cut the ribbon on that. I want to bestow a lot of thanks to a couple people. Dean Pat Chapman, I saw Dr. Chapman here, I think. Dean Pat Chapman is the brains and muscle behind this wonderful, expansive construction project. And Ruben Bruggley, who, if you haven't met, he's the director of facilities, and he's also one who deserves a lot of credit for that. We're going to be sharing more information about when we're going to cut the ribbon on this building, but this is one example of a project that we continued to plan and started to build despite the pandemic. And it's just about to be open. In fact, Pat, are we letting people in it now? Almost. The other thing I want to tell you about is I got a phone call or two from community members that said, you know, I drove by the college and I had to ask, are you expanding your lawn cutting service? And the answer is yes, but a heck of a lot less. Because we have decided that we were going to try to find a way to reduce the costs that we have to run the college. And some big costs are irrigation and use of water and electricity. So about 3 years ago, the Board of Trustees allowed us to try something called the Integrated Energy Master Plan, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more, but I'll just say one part of that, and the theory here is that if we implement best practices in our infrastructure, we can save millions of dollars in how we water our plants and wash our hands and flush our toilets, and even more millions of dollars of how the lights turn on and off and how we heat and cool our buildings. And we found an international company who said we can guarantee those cost savings such to the extent that you have to change all your lights and stop watering some plants, and if you don't have the savings that you think and we agree to, we'll pay you the difference. And it's a 15-year project to accomplish those savings. It costs $23 million. And one of the things we had to do was stop trying to maintain a golf course look for a community college, which I have to tell you I was a little suspect of. But in year 3 now, what you're starting to see is what we were promised, which is these natural plants take up to 21 million gallons less per year. They bring natural wildlife and fauna back, and in year 3 now they look not bad. The character we debate these things, and you might imagine I was a little bit of a hard sell on this, but I do see the money savings, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But this is one of the things we're doing. The one thing I want to ask for you to think about for the next 6 months is that about 25 to 30% of our revenue comes from the citizens of Dearborn willingly agreeing to give us some of their hard-earned money through property taxes, which my family is proud to pay, but is a political question that we have to revisit every once in a while. And that once in a while will be coming, if the board approves it, that will be coming up to that question of our village, hopefully in the beginning of 2024. So what I will ask you to do is consider, for those in your social circle, to talk about why you're proud of this, particularly those people who own property and vote in Dearborn. Tell about what it is that Henry Ford College is, and if you don't want to tell them, I hope you can see I don't mind. I do it a lot, and I'm really excited about it, so bring me to those folks. Stay tuned for more information about whether the board decides we will ask for a village renewal, and if so, what the process will be. But in the meantime, get your best arguments to your friends and colleagues who are voters in Dearborn. I want to talk about a couple of words on that, and then I'll be pretty close to wrapping up. John Sankowski recently was named a notable leader in Cranes for energy, and it was for the IMB. And this is what I was proud to write the nomination about. There is no institution who has made the audacious goal of saying we're going to reduce our carbon footprint by 50%. We're going to reduce our water usage by 40%. And we're going to reduce how much we're going to increase efficiency in electricity use by 60%. But if that weren't enough, we also got an employer to promise that they would guarantee the cost savings and help us find students who could learn in this curriculum and help us go to Congress and ask for more money to do this work. So it probably wouldn't be a surprise to you that Cranes, and for those of you that don't read Cranes, it's the business publication. The CEOs and C-suites of employers in the private industry read this periodical. Which is why I'm trying to nose in on them and say, look, HFC is the place you need to come to find students and innovation and the best people associated with higher education. And so they listed all these folks who got this award, and only one was in higher ed. And I know you know him, but I do want you to help me in congratulating him, because John Sankowski has been a great friend of me. He was your interim president in a dark time for the college. He is the one that has helped us forge a path to financial success. And it just gives me a lot of great pride that the region identified him as a notable leader. So please welcome and thank him with And he gives my kids tomatoes and what else is this? Sledding, right? Say it louder. Cucumbers, yes, cucumbers, John. A kid likes some cucumbers. All right, so this one's going to be hard for me to get through. So if you haven't met Kathy Dimitriou, I'll tell you about her. And I know that that's an oxymoron, because I think everybody here knows who Kathy is. Which is why it was a real pride point for the board and I to nominate Kathy for the Association of Community College Trustees Professional Board Staff Award. And I'm really excited that she won this award, because it's sad to admit that Kathy has decided that she's going to enjoy some time away from the college after 46 years having served Dearborn Public Schools or the community college here. And she served 3 different presidents. And I know that those of you who've been around for 3 different presidents know that they're very different people. Very different people. But she's earned the trust and respect from all 3 of those leaders. And I know that she's earned your trust and respect. And so it was a really exciting thing for us as a board to say, hey, this person started working in public education when she was in high school and has stayed ever since. She has served 16 trustees, and she served 3 presidents. Those 2 categories are the definition of herding cats. And the ability to care about people while still getting things done and integrity are off the charts for Kathy. It's going to be hard for me to have Kathy leave my office. It's been a team of 2 that have gone through a lot. And I've tried my very best to get her to stay. But she has so many really, really wonderful things to go be with, including a very patient husband, grandkids, and so it is a bittersweet moment for me to say to you that she will be leaving us, but with an award, and I just want you to join me in thanking Kathy for dedicating. This is the last day of college for you. This is hard work supporting me. All right, I'm going to wrap up and I'm going to ask Tracy to talk to you about her new role. This is what we can do for the next year, for the next 2 years, for the next 3 years. We can continue to be the leader on student success. And I promise you, we can win this. And it is a competition to be the leader on student success. I told you that these funders and those billionaires, they're the ones in the picture here. They chose us for a disproportionate investment in our student success initiatives. This is Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, who chose us to give federal tax dollars. And you know those flow from Arizona and New Hampshire and all over the country. They came to Henry Ford College through Debbie Dingell that said, I want to invest in the IEMP, that project that John got an award from. And the reason was because we connected to Johnson Controls. We connected our students to a successful outcome. This is real, tangible outcomes from the work you are doing and that we are going to continue for the next several years. Debbie Stabenow said, I'm not going to be outdone by Debbie Dingell. So she came and gave us even more money for our curricula to teach students in these green curriculum programs. I'm telling you folks, come with me on this journey. Stay with me in pushing for students to have a better experience here. You all can do it. And if I can do anything to help you do it, let me know. I'm ready to make that investment. I know it's going to be worth your time and your effort. And it was the biggest, best result just 3 months ago when the state government had to decide what they were going to do with the bunch of federal money that was left over. And we fought and pushed and said we need to replace that old, tired, decay building. And we want to put a great new building on the site that's called a Student Success Center. And we want a line item appropriation for Henry Ford College. And that budget process was sticky. But in the very last hours, Henry Ford College was the only community college that got an 8-figure line item. The only community college that the state said, we want to give you $10 million to go at your student success goals. This is real proof of the work that you're doing that's making a difference. It wouldn't be possible without the board supporting us, without 1650 and the other collective labor units helping us. This is the chance you have. You can be on this team and push us towards student success where no one is even close. And that's why I'm so excited to have you guys on my team. And so excited to be on your team. Now what you deserve is a place where it's a good place to work. You clearly have a president who's going to keep pushing to win the fight on student success. But you deserve a place where it's safe to be different, where we enjoy and value our diversity, where we show students how to disagree with each other in civil ways. And as a result of that, we have gone on a years-long process to try and improve the way we act on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And we've had so many difficult and important discussions, analyses after analyses. And now, after a long process, we've identified a leader who's going to help us improve on this point. Help me improve. She's going to report directly to me. She's going to meet with the cabinet. And she's going to help all of you help us show our students what a diverse and vibrant community looks like, both to learn and to live and to have a working environment. So if you haven't already met her, I've asked her to come and give you a few remarks about her work. And I do want you to know, this is someone who has my complete support, and I'm excited to be able to introduce to you our new Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging, Ms. Tracy Davis.
Good morning, everyone. I am honored, excited, humbled, a little terrified, all emotions, right? It is not lost on me how important this role is, and I believe we all know that colleges, organizations, institutions all across the country have been under attack. Diversity initiatives, anything related to DEIB and social justice have really been under attack. So I want to thank our president, our board of trustees, our search committees, everyone. Thank you for the support in moving forward with this role. We've got a lot of work to do. So the magnitude of this position, the weight of this work is not lost on me. What I know for certain is that any long-term, sustainable, systemic efforts are not the work of one person. They are going to be the result and require communication, collaboration, and cooperation from the entire college community. Based on our conversations that I've had over the last few years, I've started a list of approximately 15 diversity-related initiatives that I'd like for us to consider. But I want to ensure that our student life cycle experience, from the moment they call or walk through the doors to the moment they graduate or transfer, is an amazing experience. But I also want us to have an amazing employee life cycle experience from the moment that we are recruited until hopefully the day that we retire from HFC. We also deserve a place where we belong, where we feel safe, and where we experience a sense of purpose. I think it's, what we know for sure is that when employees feel that sense of purpose and belonging, when we are engaged, that naturally leads to enhanced performance, and that enhanced performance also leads to, or has a positive correlation, I will say, to our student experience. We spend a lot of time working here, so we should receive the same level of support and belonging as our students. So that's part of our initiative as well. However, nothing is going to happen without partnership, and that means hearing directly from you. So over the next month or so, I'm going to be reaching out. I'd like to speak with our collective bargaining units, 1650, AFO, DSOEA, SSA, Local 71, our exempt group. I want to hear from you. I want to hear directly from you what are your concerns. I want to talk to our business resource groups, our employee resource groups, our students individually and student groups. I'd like to visit one of our individual departments administratively. I also want to spend some time in the classroom and talk to our faculty members. What are their experiences? What are our student experiences? And how can we create an amazing environment for all of us? I also believe in transparency, so I want to start a podcast as well that will allow us to hear directly from you. That will be a platform for our voices and our concerns, but can also serve as a two-way communication so that we can report back to you our successes on planned initiatives. Over the next month, I'm going to be contacting quite a few of you to join a DEIB task force, and I see that as having three primary objectives. The first is to help create a college-wide diversity statement. Who are we? What do we believe? I also would like for this task force to assist in creating objectives for this department. What do we want to do and accomplish in this department under this new role? And ultimately, I'd also like for this task force to create a college-wide DEIB strategic plan that we can implement over the next few years. I want to be able to report to you over the upcoming months the progress that we've made. So I'm going to commit to you again to that transparency. And I believe that through our collective efforts of equity-minded leaders as yourselves, I think we have a real opportunity to set the standard for being an amazing, welcoming organization for, again, any student who wants a quality education, but also for anyone who wants to come and work for us. It's a great place to work. I'm excited. I know this won't happen overnight. I also know that we're ready to have some real conversations, and I hope that those conversations will lead to really substantial actions that are, again, long-term and sustainable, and that makes inclusion and belonging a reality for all of us, not just some of us. So I'm going to ask you to reach out to me with your concerns, but also with your ideas and suggestions. How do you see this role assisting you? How do you see this role assisting students? What I know for sure is we may not be able to do everything, but we can do some things. So let me know how I can help you. This role is of service to you, to the community, and to our students, and I'm here to serve you. So I thank you for your support. I've already heard from some of you, and I'm going to be reaching out again to a lot of you who are already sitting in here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One last quick thing before I walk away from the stage is I want to give a huge round of applause to my team. So Human Resources team, please stand up. 2 rows that are over in the corner. Yep, that's you. Stand up. Always down. Members, Adam and Terry, who are absolutely tireless and are doing an amazing job. I thank you all so very much. I'm looking forward to being again of service to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Let's make it happen.
Okay. Dr. Hill, look at this, I'm almost on time. What we've done historically here is, let's see, I have one more slide on the, okay. I've got, what I'm going to do, folks, in order to try and do this more quickly, I've decided to shrink the presentation. So what you'll recall from previous years is I'll do an email out that'll be much more comprehensive. Fair warning, it's a long one. I know some of you hate that, but it will be my attempt to give you more information on some other things about the college as we start the semester, which will include upcoming events. I think Dr. Hill was going to start at 10:30. I'm fine to hand the microphone to him, but what we also have is a kind of a cultural norm where I take any questions you have. And then you may recall back in January of last year, we tried a little bit of a modification of the state of the college where it was more of a community conversation, which we probably will try again in January. But to do just a little bit of that, I'm happy to, we've got microphones in the aisle if anyone has any questions or comments. I'm happy to take those, or if you'd like to just keep moving on, I can call us for a break, and then when Dr. Hill convenes the Senate, we'll be back rolling. All right, well, thank you guys. I'm excited to be your teammate. I'll see you around campus, and